Ladies and gentlemen, here's a very hearty good afternoon to all of you, and welcome to yet another edition of the Act and its Impact, the Knowledge Update series on the Companies Act 2013. I'm sure all of you recollect, it's been a while since I've been on these videos, that this Act has actually been through a lot of circulars, orders, notifications, and more importantly, this Act was an Act that was notified in parts. We had 283 sections that were notified sometime early on in the phases of implementation of this Act, and then we had sections that were getting notified periodically. And at that point in time, we used to track the notified sections. But now, in December, we've had a huge burst of 92 sections that have got notified in this Act, along with another 37 which got notified in June, and bits of 1 and 2 sections notified during the course of the year. We've now come to a point where a substantial part of the Act is notified. Against 470 sections that comprise this Act, only 48 are not notified as of date, as per the website of the MCA, and I have managed to actually audit a few of these numbers with reference to the relevant notifications, and you may want to check those too. In fact, there's a very good ebook which is available on the MCA website, where it's a kind of a ready reckoner to know the status of each section. Now, it's very interesting because out of the 48 sections, 39 are proposed to be omitted because of the advent of the Bankruptcy and Insolvency Code 2016. Now, what are these sections that are going to be omitted? Revival and rehabilitation of sick companies, section 253 to 269. And incidentally, SICA has been repealed. There was an act called the SICA Special Provisions Repeal Act 2003, which has now been notified, because of which SICA, the Board for Industrial Finance and Reconstruction, and the Appellate Authority are all, off. All proceedings under SICA will stand abated. And I will do a separate update on this. So if you have any clients for whom an inquiry is pending or orders have been issued by BIFR, then you must exercise a little more caution with the repeal of the SICA. Section 289 on winding up by tribunal. One section is going to be omitted because of the IBC. Voluntary winding up, section 304 to section 325. Other than this, there are 9 sections which have not got notified. Let's quickly go through what these 9 sections are. Section 132, which is our all-time discussion point, which is the National Financial Reporting Authority, with a lot of dedicated efforts from the council this year and in the past. We've sort of managed to explain to the government that that NAFRA is not really needed, and we've presented some very compelling reasons for the same, but the final call is left to the government. But as of now, the section is not notified. Section 234, which is the merger or amalgamation of a company with a foreign company, is not notified. 247, registered valuers, is not notified. 248, 249, 250, which is to do with the removal of the name of the company from register of companies, restrictions on wine making application under section 248, effective company notified is dissolved. Section 251, which is the fraudulent application for removal of name. Section 252, which is appeal to the tribunal. And section 465, repeal of certain enactments and savings. Now, these are the yet to be notified sections. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Companies Act 2013 is more or less completely notified. Of course, the difficulties faced by private limited companies, etc., are continuing to be represented, and we can expect a little more relaxations perhaps in the future as well. But we'll have to wait and watch. Thank you very, very much for this patient hearing, and this was yet another edition of the Act and its Impact. And in the forthcoming series, we'll talk about the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, and more importantly and more immediately, the repeal of SICA. Thank you very, very much, and good night.